Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back for another Hell Let Loose update. So, Dev Brief 130 is upon us, and it's mainly about the addition of new smart materials to the armor side of things, which actually looks pretty fantastic. Some seriously good work is going into how armor looks, which, as they say in the brief, will also give back from a game performance perspective as well. Low spec rig gamers rejoice. Some really good stuff coming. This brief and the way the armor rework is being done is also a good example of how the devs are approaching game development overall. We all know the communication between devs and players isn't always very clear, and despite the roadmaps change. We're not always in the know about what their short-term or long-term objectives are either, but we can clearly see they're playing a two-pronged battle here with this game, rolling out new content and fixing old issues. The balance between the two must be really difficult, but if this rolls out and is actually as good as it looks and isn't as buggy as previous updates have been, it'll be a perfect example of how to continue developing this game, address those issues that the community always feeds back on, and roll out content or update old content that makes the game look and feel better. Now, that being said, there are two things that worry me or make me a little bit frustrated about this brief. Why only Soviet tanks? I'm not a dev. I don't know how to produce a game, and I have no idea how much effort goes into implementing something like smart materials. But why not update all armor in the game? The Soviets are only going to be on two maps, Kursk and probably Stalingrad. So I don't know how big of a quality of life upgrade this is if I'm only able to appreciate it on 2 out of 9 maps in rotation. I mean, yes, granted, many servers are going to have these on their rotation for weeks, probably, but if the maps aren't well optimized, as we've had with previous new maps, if it introduces new bugs and crashes that basically prevent us from enjoying the map, then what difference is smart materials going to make to my Hell Let Loose experience? Why not roll it out for the US or German forces first? We would be guaranteed to enjoy the new smart materials, even if Kursk and Stalingrad are unplayable for many people. And to be honest, the German side probably needs this more than the others. I mean, the image that they shared in the brief of the Panther says it all, really. It's really low quality looking. It's very kind of cardboardy. It's noticeable, you notice it in game. So this is my first frustration. I mean, yes, if it rolls out correctly, we're going to get some hopefully great performance boosts out of it, and we're going to get some great looking tanks on the Soviet side. I just kind of look at it and think, well, this isn't something you've ever told us about before, and a lot of the things that you have told us about, we don't know much about, whether you're doing anything about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of thinking, right, this looks awesome. It's really cool stuff, but what about the issues that the community is talking about a lot? I've never actually seen or heard any sort of comment about tank visuals in the game up until now. And while this does sound, a really cool little addition that the devs are working on at the moment, and much appreciated, it does just make me think, like, why are you not addressing some of the other issues that the community brings up time and time again that haven't quite been addressed? The first thing that comes to mind is grass. Like, the devs continue to change this and that, make the grass look bigger, smaller, add a lot more of it, and vice versa. But I just think, like, there isn't a proper solution. There's no kind of like, right, guys, this is an issue, and this is how we're thinking about it, and this is the first solution we're going to implement, and you're going to be able to test it in this PTE, and we want to hear your feedback, because that will help us basically make the decisions that we need to make for this next update. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm looking for here. The other issue is, on these maps, we're going to have 2 different systems at work for tank visuals. The new version with the Soviet vehicles and the old version with the German vehicles. So if we run into trouble with this rework and the smart materials don't work as well as they should be, then surely we're compounding the problem here, as the old version doesn't exactly do the performance of the game any favors either. If it's not done right, we might actually have worse issues come up. I mean, hopefully all of this is coming up in the PTE already, and if there are any more, they'll come up in future PTEs, and the devs are seeing what needs to be improved, and they're making the right decisions to correct them. But so help me, if issues come up and they let some of them slide. And, all these PTEs that we're going to be going through aren't as effective as they can be, that we all know the potential of them to be, then I'm going to be very, very angry. Which leads me to my final point from this brief, guys. And this ends the video in a more positive note. We have a new player test environment coming up next week, which is interesting. The devs have alternated between one or many PTEs, so how many we get has been quite unpredictable in the past, but we've got a second PTE next week, which means that the devs get more feedback. They can find out more of these bugs and issues on these two new maps, as well as everything else we're getting in U10. So really good stuff, actually. Another way we can look at it is it's a bit more hopeful. Might be that the devs are learning from previous updates and are rolling out more and more PTEs to catch as many of these issues as early as possible before the update releases. That would be the ideal, really. And if PTEs can help them do that, then by all means, let's have a PTE every week until launch. If it means we can help the devs find areas that need improvement, bugs, and crashes that can be fixed before the update gets released. This also means, I suppose, we'll have PTEs for what will hopefully be Stalingrad. I mean, honestly, I'm just going to assume it's Stalingrad from now on, because if it's not, why do the Eastern Front at all, right? But yeah, so we'll get a look at this wonderful map as well in the next few weeks. So very exciting things to come. Finally, guys, before I sign off here, I wanted to highlight that in the brief, the devs mentioned we'll get a preview of what the Saint-Méry-du-Mont overhaul will look like. There is a big risk here, as overhauls in the past have been quite hit or miss, Hurtgen, but I'm quite hopeful. I mean, I think SMDM is really lacking on some key areas, whether it's strong point or map balance between the Germans and the US, big sprawling fields that make it nigh impossible for infantry to take cover, or actually you can't really because people can shoot through the bushes, or, and we're all thinking it, those giant bushes and grass issues, which really don't do the map any favors. But anyway, we'll be getting a good look at this map next week. I'm very excited for it. Hopefully we'll get some images, some big images as well to see, exactly the details of various strong points, etc., to see what's changed. And who knows, maybe we'll get a nighttime version of the map as well, just as we did with Utah, which would be sick, to be honest. I really like the nighttime version for Utah, so I would love it if that happened. So that's it for today, guys. I think the dev brief was an interesting one this week. I can't personally wait for the next PTE so I can get my hands on the PPSH and the SVT again, and I can't wait to see what the new armor visuals look like. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Hell Let Loose updates, news, gameplay, commentary like this, my thoughts in general about the game, and more. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.